Fam, what is going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here. We got a big show tonight. There is two leads, not one lead. There is two leads tonight as Cam Calhoun has committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. And then also in trending news, Isaiah Horton is on commitment watch for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're going to walk you all through it, talk about the news, the notes, everything Alabama football related right here on the show. Today is Wednesday, December 18th. This is our PM show. We appreciate you guys being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. A lot of news to talk about. Child, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. Child is saying, yeah, do I live in Tuscaloosa? 100%. Yes, I lived here for 8 years. 8 years in Tuscaloosa. And you continue to, now we're in a whole new world. This is college portal football. All right, Bama Productions, we had a call-in show earlier today for 2 hours, man. So we are not doing call-ins tonight. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. All right. Car, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. In terms of a commitment from Isaiah Horton, he hasn't committed, although he has been predicted to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. So we'll walk you through it. First up is Cam Calhoun, and of course we have T up in the house. T.
Hello, everyone.
All right, we got T up in the undefeated. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. We got 69 up in the house. All right, so Cam Calhoun, who is he? Well, he committed earlier today to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's a defensive back out of Utah. And the thing that I think about when I think about Utah and when I think about Utah football is I think about defense, right? I don't necessarily think about the offense when I think about defense. If I think about Utah's offense, I think about Cam Rising and how he's been there for almost a decade, which is crazy to think about. But when I think about them, honestly, I feel like their defense is very hard-hitting. It's a defense that plays really physical, right? Would you agree with me? When you think about Utah, you think about the defense, right? Randy, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Road Warrior, what's going on? Brock, RTR, I appreciate you being here. Alabama Superfan. ASG, what's going on? Diego Pavia, he's back. He's thirsty for more. He'll get a taste of Tuscaloosa next year, right? Hey, tonight on the show, we get $300 in Super Chats tonight. That is the overall goal. We will raffle out this Ryan Williams hoodie on Athletes Thread. So that's the deal. We get $300 in Super Chat. We'll bust out the pinwheel, and then we will send this out to somebody, okay? So that is the goal tonight. And it's a Ryan Williams sweater. You don't have to wear an ugly sweater. You could wear a Ryan Williams Christmas sweater. And to support all the athletes, go to Athletes Thread. And that's kind of what name, image, and likeness was supposed to be about, right? And I get it. And we'll talk about this more later on tonight. But now is pay for play. Like, pay me right now before I even got here. Or I'm going to go to, if I'm a rival school, I'm going to go to your school and just pay for this player to get him out. And there's tampering all over the place, okay? This is the world that we live in. I know. And this is it. All right, so Cam Calhoun, who is he? Well, he just committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. 6 foot, 177 pounds. He has 3 years of eligibility left. And you'll see with a lot of these prospects that Alabama has been targeting, you'll see a connection to Michigan. And you're like, what's the connection to Michigan? Well, Courtney Morgan, right, working the phones. Right? And if you talk to people from Alabama, you're going to see a lot of Courtney Morgan in his overall presence, right, around college football. Remember, this is a guy with Los Angeles ties, Michigan ties, Washington ties, general manager. And I saw recently that Stanford is making Andrew Luck their general manager. The first person to really have a general manager is Coach Jaylen Mbakwe. He's doing things, and that was what I always thought so highly about Coach Saban. He was always ahead, right, of college football. And I think with Coach Jaylen Mbakwe, you can give him credit in terms of like having Courtney Morgan being in this GM position. That's futuristic college football, right? That's college portal football. So Cam Calhoun, he was at Michigan in 2023. This past season, he played in 11 games, started just one game in 2024. He had 236 snaps. I was looking at his Pro Football Focus. And again, that does not give you all the detail about the specific player we're talking about. But in terms of like overall coverage, his Pro Football Focus grade, pretty good, 76.5. All right, so that is your newest commitment is Cam Calhoun out of Utah. So when you look to the commitments that have jumped on from Alabama, you have Cam Calhoun and you have Kelby Collins, right? Two prospects who committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide in back-to-back days. And I know you're probably like, where was the good news? When is the good news? And I think sometimes as Alabama fans, you're used to good news all the time, and that's been a real big challenge this year because you didn't make the playoffs, right? Still got an incredible recruiting class, but it's taken a little bit of time to like get the transfers. And you don't force recruiting, and you don't force the transfer portal. That's why like maybe some schools are getting theirs. Alabama is going to work the transfer portal, and they're going to get top-tier guys. Now, let me ask you something inside the comment box. I'd like some feedback right now. Who are you more excited about from the first two commitments from the transfer portal? Cam Calhoun or Kelby Collins? Type C for Cam and type K for Kelby Collins right now. Appreciate you guys. I start thinking about it. I always like to break things down in terms of like a roster management and what does Kelby Calhoun or Cam Calhoun rather come into the corner room. Like, what does it look like? And so you got to think that Damani Jackson is leaving, right? Because now you have Cam coming in. I took off Jaylen Mbakwe, put him on the wide receiver side. Scuba Steve still really not impressed. I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, none of these guys was like a marquee starter anywhere that they played. Now you get Isaiah Horton. Ooh, like that's a 10 out of 10. All right, so I'm seeing some mix like C and K. Mostly, what's that, T? Go ahead.
Maybe a little bit more Kelby.
All right, yeah, Kelby Collins. All right, well, in Gardendale, Alabama, right? He originally picked Florida over Alabama. I think Alabama fans know, too, that you need big bodies in here, right? We'll talk some roster management on the back end of the show. But Damani Jackson, you got to think that he exits out, and I have no idea who would be the starters. I mean, there's going to be competition. And Deshaun Jones could probably play Husky as well, right? Chill, D1 Bam, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. Kimberly, good morning. Good evening, Kimberly. All right. But here's what the defensive back room could look like, right? Hold on. Greg Byrne just tweeted something out. Is there anything as noteworthy as his last message? Welcome, Alabama basketball. We're going to give you a product, you guys. Okay. All right. How are you feeling about the corner room now with Cam Calhoun in? And do you think that Damani Jackson is gone? Yes or no? Inside the comment box. Do you think that Damani will go? I'm going to ask you that every single day up until Damani makes a decision. It's just Dom. Zay could play corner or he could play safety. So I'm going to keep him here, and maybe I'll add him to the safety graphic as well. But I think he's a player that can play both. I personally like to see him at the safety position. And now with Jaylen Mbakwe wanting to play on offense, we took him off here. But does that mean that he's not going to play corner? I don't know. I think Jaylen Mbakwe is going to be able to do whatever he wants to do. And I think if Coach Kalen DeBoer, if he wants to play this, he'll play that. If he wants to return kicks, he'll do that. So it's kind of whatever Jaylen Mbakwe wants to do. And hearing Coach Kalen DeBoer talk about it, it sounded like that's exactly what happened. It's like, I want to do this, and Coach Kalen DeBoer is like, okay. He's a different type of athlete. You saw him in high school. He could play all over the field. Christian Hughes is like, it adds more depth, 100%. Jarvis, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. All right, so if you're just in here, we got two leads, okay? You got the lead one is Cam Calhoun commits to the Alabama Crimson Tide. This happened this afternoon. It's the second pickup in 2 days. And then what is trending right now, we have two leads. Anytime you see a double headline like this is big stuff. Isaiah Horton, we'll talk about him in just a second, has been predicted to commit to Alabama. Really should happen at any point. So I stay close to Bama Football on YouTube. I stay close to your sites. as Isaiah Horton will pull the trigger. I'll talk about him in just a minute. Today on the show, we're also going to talk about Greg Byrne telling Alabama fans to fight back. And we'll take both, we'll look at it a couple different ways. I always like to look at things at two sides of the coin, right? I want to pretend that, like, you just have to protect Alabama every single time that you're on. I think there's two ways to look at everything. Malachi Moore, injury news. I'm sure you guys saw that. Keon Keeley got an update from Kane Womack today. He's not leaving or anything like that. It's a good update. And Nikhai Green visiting from Colorado, inside linebacker. We'll talk about the Alabama depth as well. All that tonight right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. As I said at the beginning of the show, we get $300 in Super Chats tonight. We are going to raffle this off to anyone who has Super Chatted. Okay, so this is a Ryan Williams hoodie. If you want this hoodie yourself, go to Athletes Thread. I got one myself. I'm supporting the players, right, through NIL, name, image, and likeness. And you should too. So one thing that you can do on Athletes Thread as well is you can go to Athletes Thread and type in any single player. And you can, buy their gear. So definitely buy their gear to help, support these athletes. Talked about Cam Calhoun. What's your level of excitement on Cam Calhoun? Scale of 1 to 10. I think in terms of depth, it probably maybe like a 6.5, 7. I'm excited. Tough as Nails talking about what's your opinion on the drones. Yeah, T's into the drones. T?
I've been keeping close tabs on that stuff. It's crazy. So, and I forget Chris is from there.
Are these drones out in New Jersey? Is this still like a thing? Is this still happening?
Yeah, and now there's orbs too.
Orbs and drones.
Yeah, the orbs are killing the drones.
I don't know. I don't really freak out about that stuff. I'm not. I'm a little bit interested in it, but I'm not. It's not something that I'm like.
I mean, I'm not over here wearing like a tinfoil hat or anything, but it's weird to say the least. I think that the government knows what's happening. We're just, it's something that we're involved in.
Well, the government knows everything. They even know about this next prospect we're about to talk about, and that is Isaiah Horton. Okay, so Isaiah Horton is on our board. He's been on our board for a little bit, so I'll go full screen on this so everybody can see this. Okay. Look, Cam Calhoun, he's in up at the top. He committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll update that to say committed. But a couple of these guys in yellow are off the board. But Isaiah Horton, he has been predicted to be coming to Alabama for quite some time, even before he was in the transfer portal. So people are always wondering, how do people know about Jaylen Mbakwe, 7-figure deal? How do we know that he was going to even come to Alabama before he was in the transfer portal? You see what I'm saying? Works both ways. Khalid Toffee, Washington prospect. He's a new visitor. So is Cam Dewberry, right? Texas A&M. I see each of those linemen as kind of being reserve type pieces. And then you got Kelby Collins, who was the first transfer portal commit. A couple other guys have gone other places. I think the guy on the bottom, honestly, would probably be like a 8 or a 9. That's Nikhai Green. I think he'd be like a 9 or a 10 if he commits to the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I think probably the same for Isaiah Horton, to be honest. And you know what? No update on KC Conception. And one thing that I want to talk to you guys about, and I have to be real, okay? You start getting all these wide receivers in. Wide receivers want the football, okay? 4 wide receivers left. Why do you think those guys left? Honestly, do you think that they didn't like Alabama anymore? Do you think that they didn't like to block? Or do you think they wanted the football? I'm going to go with I think they wanted the football, okay? Kobe Prentice wants touches. Kendrick Law wanted touches. Caleb Odom wanted touches, right? Those guys want the football. So when you start bringing in more wide receivers, let me ask you this. You get KC Conception. Who starts, him or Jaylen Mbakwe? Who starts, KC or Mbakwe? If you get Isaiah Horton over here, who are you going to take off the field? You got Ryan Williams, right? Let's talk about Isaiah Horton's. Predicted to commit to Alabama, and this will be a gigantic pickup. I'm telling you, as soon as I was talking to some people from Miami, okay? And they were like, they texted me twice, and they're like, is it a done deal? I knew this was a done deal a couple days ago. I appreciate it, Sharon. If you want the same hoodie or any type of gear from any of the players, go to Athletes Thread and you can buy players gear. Just type in their names. And this person from Miami asked, it was like, is it a done deal? I've known about this for a couple days already, okay? The expectation is that he commits to Alabama. 6'4", 56 receptions, 6'16" from Cam Moore this past season. 2 years left to eligibility. Probably won't need those 2 years because I think he'll be a one and done. He's very physical off the line. This is a dynamic type wide receiver that I think will be an instant impact player. I think you get him opposite side of Ryan Williams. My goodness. That probably tells me that Jeremy Bernard might be going to the NFL. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. And then you look at your slot position player. Do you want KC or do you want Jaylen Mbakwe? And if Mbakwe doesn't start, and I'm sure they're going to run different sets than just 3 wide receivers, but you get what I'm saying. There's only one football to go around. So maybe you got your wide receiver. I don't know. Look, if you get KC Conception, there's no way you're keeping him off the field, period. Jawan Carey saying, I heard how they wanted to rotate the wide receivers. Yeah, and that could be it too. Maybe there's just kind of a rotation, and these guys, are going to rotate in and out. I don't know. Hard to rotate Ryan Williams off the field, though. And I don't think Isaiah Horton's going to want to get off the football either, right? I think these guys want to be on the field, and I think they want 10 targets minimum. And I think these guys are put in it. Oh, you know what? Some breaking news, not Alabama football related, but there's John Mateer, who just committed to Oklahoma out of Washington State. Have you seen this guy play? Yo, I'm serious. Oklahoma just got, how would you say this, T? John Mateer, Mateer. This guy, this quarterback from Washington State that Oklahoma is getting, he is a baller. I think he's the #1 quarterback in the transfer portal. I'm telling you, has anybody seen this guy play? Yeah, Jawan, I get that. It'll probably put more stress on the defensive backs, but face it, these guys want the ball and they want money. They want to continue to elevate their brand so they are paid more, period. Isaiah Horton, though, make sure the subscriptions are turned on so you're notified when Isaiah Horton does commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Dylan, what's up, man? You think this is the year of Keon Keeley? You think he'll be able to start over Kelby Collins, or you think there'll be a rotation there as well? This is what the wide receiver room could look like, okay? We've added a couple new names. Isaiah Horton, we added him to the board because that's what's trending right now, okay? Isaiah Horton, who's a target out of Miami, 6'4" wide receiver. Obviously. Look at this room right here. See, that's why I don't think Jeremy Bernard. This room is loaded. Oh my goodness. This is so. I think earlier today I had him rated as an A. This is an A++. If you get KC Conception, it's the best wide receiver room in college football. And maybe look, and with a new quarterback that could operate the offense. Shoot, who knows? Maybe you're running 5 wide sets. I don't care. I just got to think that Jeremy Bernard leaves, and I think KC's still on the table, honestly. Man, it's exciting to think. Just this graphic gets me pumped up if Isaiah Horton does commit to Alabama. Man, shoot. This is good. I like this. And think about a healthy Jalen Hell too. That's another guy. We can't. I know JTL. I'm just, man. This room is exciting to think about. Latier Brooks, Derek Meadows. Man, this is like, oof. Now I have no idea how long these guys are gonna all stay here and all that stuff, but just thinking about these guys have opportunities for Alabama, and think about this. Kareem Meredith, that's a really good question. I think over the last couple of years, Ohio State has had better wide receivers than Alabama. Like collectively, not better than Ryan Williams. I know they have, each team has an incredible freshman, but I think overall, I would say Ohio State probably had the better wide receiver room. which says a lot, right? But I think in this particular case, I think this would be a better wide receiver room than Ohio State. Donnie, that is the most important question in the entire world is who will be the right tackle? Because, look, your quarterback is going to be under extreme duress if it is the same situation that Alabama was in this last year. I don't know, and look, guys can have breakthrough seasons, different things. You know who had a breakthrough season that we didn't even really talk about was Caden Proctor. Now, did Caden Proctor play his absolute best this year? Not necessarily. I still think he has a ceiling on him, but he played way better than he did last year. And, I mean, there's another guy, Cole Adams, too. Is he going to return punts over Jaylen Mbakwe or Ryan Williams? Is he going to start at slot over Jaylen Mbakwe or Casey Conception? I don't know. Bubba Hampton, how about him? Shoot. I think with the addition of some of these guys that keep on kind of going down a little bit in the depth chart, but that's if these guys can be patient. But who's patient? Nobody. Cole Adams is good, Malik, but who's better, Cole Adams or Jaylen Mbakwe? Who's better, Cole Adams or Latsier Brooks? Who's better, Cole Adams or Casey Conception? Shoot. Who's better, Bubba Hampton or Cole Adams? I don't know. Hey, Ricky Smith, what's up, man? So what we're talking about right now, and this is like trending all over, is you have Isaiah Horton, who should at some point in time commit to Alabama. That's the big expectation. He's already been predicted to commit to Alabama. 6'4" this past season. He had an absolute monster season. Jason Lee brings up a good point. He had a really good season this year. He's proven. And he played with a robotic arm. Cole Adams is really, really talented. Remember he came back, that arm injury looked significant. He came back looking like RoboCop. So to get back, Ricky, you're watching Isaiah Horton. This would be your next commitment likely. And this would be, I'm telling you, this would be, you know how I always ask you scale of 1 to 10? Like so far, like Kelby Collins, I think I said like 6, 7. Probably same thing around Cam Calhoun. But this dude would be like a 10, 11. Jay Kelly, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Yeah, so look, he's saying that Cole Adams was third best before he was injured. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can, hold off Jaylen Mbakwe or Casey Conception, right? Jay Kelly, do you think Cole Adams starts? Let me ask you, if you had to pick let's just say 4 receivers in this scenario, who would you put as your starters? I think I have a graphic that showcases kind of the wide receiver room. Not yet, Marcus. We're waiting on it, man. We're waiting on it like Christmas. I guess in this scenario, if Isaiah Horton comes and you have Jeremy Bernard stay, which I don't think is likely, I guess, I would say Horton, Bernard, Ryan Williams, and but see, I don't know if you put Jalen Hell to slot. I would put either Jaylen Mbakwe or Cole Adams. That's how I do it. So those are my 4. I'd be Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and then I guess Cole Adams in the slot, I guess. What are you looking for, David Peterson? Hey, T, could you read Malik's comment out? Malik Pryor.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
With this type of wide receiver room, there's no way anyone outscores us with a great quarterback play. I trust any of our quarterbacks next year to get the job done. This offense is completely loaded.
And see, Hunter, in there, I completely agree with you, bro. Jalen Hell he probably would have pushed for starting time this year. That's how talented he is. And I think right now, as you're getting excited about all these wide receivers, is like, don't forget about the people that are here already. Don't forget about the people. Like, these guys, I mean, Jalen Hill, any program in the country would love to have Jalen Hill. He would start. Oh, and for the hat, so, all right. So, this is from Athlete's Thread. You can just go on and type in Athlete's Thread. And then the hat is Chris Mobley. I have a white one, and I have a black one. T is not my wifey; she's my girlfriend. But we are not married. If we ever get married, we're gonna stream it. We'll stream the wedding. T, is that cool?
Stream, yeah, let's do it.
All right. But T is so T just got her second master's, which is in, go ahead, T.
Marketing with a concentration in digital media.
And not to age anybody, but for people out there, like they'll talk shit.
Right,
they'll be like, oh man, Kyle's 41 dating a 23-year-old college girl. T is not in her 20s.
I'm not saying my age, but I'm not in my 20s.
She's not. Yeah. So because I see that, they'd be like, oh my God, he's dating a college girl.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
But I do appreciate that they think I could possibly be in college.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. But she got 2 masters, and so like the business strategy, right, is, I've never been able to talk business with somebody like T before. So we make it happen. But this wide receiver room would also make it happen. I mean, look, you get KC, you don't. I don't know. I really hope he comes, and we'll see what happens. But Isaiah Horton, absolutely. This guy's a player. And like, I don't want to sleep on Jalen Hill. When I play this game, NCAA football, one of my favorite wide receivers to go to is Jaron Hamilton. He's an absolutely player on this video game. Anybody play with Jaron Hamilton? You know who was really good on this video game was Keon Keeley before he got caught for speeding. Keon Keeley, I think he won the Heisman Trophy for me. But Jaron Hamilton was a monster. Right tackle, I really haven't heard anything on right tackle. And this is what I keep telling people about the right tackle position is think about the playoff teams, right? So you have 12 teams in the playoffs. A lot of those guys from those teams haven't hit the transfer portal yet. So I think when those teams start losing, you might see some guys hit the transfer portal. I have seen some tackles that I've been interested in, but I don't know. I'm sure Coach Kalen DeBoer, and I mean, look, just a YouTube guy, and I'm sure you guys know, this as well. But like, Alabama needs a tackle, and I saw different people come into the show. So let me kind of rewind real quick. So the big story is, and this is going out to somebody who asked about, this is for Steven. Cam Calhoun just committed to Alabama earlier today. All right. 6 foot, 177. He's a corner. 3 years of eligibility. Originally started out at Michigan. There's a Courtney Morgan connection, right? Played in 11 games this past year for Utah. And as I was saying at the start of the show, when I think about Utah, I think about Cam Rising, that he's been there for, I have no idea how long, 8 years. And then I think about their physical defense, okay? So that's lead one. Now, this is a shirt that we are raffling off tonight. If we hit the quota mark on Super Chats, we might be a little bit light on that, but this is something that we'll continue to introduce. If you want to buy this shirt yourself or any other players, just go to Athlete's Thread to support the players. This has nothing to do with Greg Byrne's earlier statement. We're going to talk about that later. This is just something that we work with Athlete's Thread from time to time. So the lead story is Cam Calhoun. He physically committed. Who is Isaiah Horton? So Isaiah Horton is on commitment watch, okay? And I know different people checking in at different times. So when you look to Isaiah Horton, he's somebody who just came in the transfer portal, okay? 6'4" wide receiver. I'm telling you, this would be the biggest get, all right? 56 receptions, 616 yards in this past season. I don't think that Alabama will be in play for Zachariah Branch or his brother. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. I think, as we've been talking about, a lot of the wide receivers, the guy's a hell of a player. Who wouldn't want him? But I haven't seen anywhere, or heard anything in terms of Zachariah Branch being here. Skylar, I got you, man. Just hit us up with questions. It's all good. No stress. It's the evening show. All the shows. Like, what I want you to understand out there inside the comment box is if you have a question, just ask it. Honestly. It's all good. Like, I see the questions inside the comment box. I am not at a higher position than you. We are on the same level. I'm just talking Alabama football, and that's it. There's no type of formalities in here. I want to treat you guys with respect. Honestly. So don't think that, like, you know, I'm anyone different. I'm a father. I have kids. I'm just a YouTuber, and that's all I am. That's it. All right. We talked about the wide receiver room, and then let's kind of dive into some team news. So, T, can you read this out real quick, please?
For it to get on the screen. What is it? Which page?
You got. My bad. So, we kind of shifted into Alabama football news. I think I'm a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah, he has like a 30-second.
So earlier today, Coach Jaylen Mbakwe spoke to the media, right? And Malachi Moore is going to be out. Do you see that graphic on here, T?
So it says Malachi Moore will not play versus Michigan. He will have a shoulder surgery on a shoulder injury.
I don't think it says shoulder.
Yeah, that he's dealing with. I don't know. I thought I read that somewhere earlier.
There's a lot of S's in there, but I don't even know what his injury was. But Coach, right? I don't know where he got his shoulder from. That's something that I would do. So it's fine. It's all good. So earlier today, Coach Jaylen Mbakwe, he spoke to the media, and he said that Malachi Moore was going to have surgery on something that he's been dealing with this entire season. And I was thinking about it. I was like, dang, man, like Malachi Moore played with the entire season with an injury, okay? So and Keon Sab, the guy played with like a fractured leg or something like that. And you know who I think else was hurt was Jaden Roberts. Jaden Roberts was, man, I don't think he played at 100%. Lance, and I saw him in the wheelchair too. Like his mother posted a picture. It could have been anything, his leg, his arm, I don't know, you know, surgery if you sit in a wheelchair right after. Truth be told, I'm actually nursing it back. Tuesday, we got with it at F3, and whew, I've been walking. Today I was walking around like I was 70 years old. So, and my morning show, I did it standing up, feeling a little bit looser, but whew. I know Malachi Moore. So prayers up to Malachi Moore. Two things. Number one, Malachi Moore, the way that I'll remember him is the way that he played against Auburn. The guy left his absolute heart and soul out on the field against Auburn. Plus, he came to Devontae Smith's defense when he was getting jumped. Malachi Moore had a really big year this year in terms of, you know, some of the stuff that happened during the Vanderbilt game. But overall, that is a quality individual. And his parents should be really, really proud of him because, you know, outside of that, everybody if you're close to Alabama football program, you know the type of person that he is. And look, I'm not always going to defend Alabama and Sunshine Pump and all this stuff. That is a quality person, 100%. So Malachi Moore will not be playing. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, man, who is going to be the safeties for this game against Michigan? So it looks like because Keon Sab's out and Malachi Moore is out, looks like King Mack. So King Mack get an opportunity. As you can see, played in under 100 snaps this season. Next to you know what? I think if we had to ask right now, who is your favorite player? I bet a lot of people would say Bray Hubbard, at least on the defensive side. Right? And it seemed to me like when Bray Hubbard had more opportunities, the defense played better. He hits hard. He's good in coverage. Alex Wilder is saying rumors of Grubb to Bama for the OC spot. I think that's like the new Jeremy Pruitt to Alabama to be the DC. Although I could see Grubb, you know, coming. You know, I don't know. T, what was the rumor? Even T knows the rumor about Ryan Grubb. T, why didn't Ryan Grubb come?
I think his wife was not a big fan of Tuscaloosa.
Okay, so that everybody knows that. So I don't know. They say happy wife, happy life. I don't know.
Smart man.
Right? So maybe Ryan Grubb's a genius. I don't know. So I haven't seen that. I did see the rumor that I'm seeing right now is that Freddie Roach is gone. or like he's going to be gone. I haven't seen that. I just heard that. That's like rumor stuff. I'm sure you saw that too. But this is, look, I guess the safeties will be King Mack and Bray Hubbard against Michigan. I'll be honest. The times that I saw King Mack play, I didn't think he was ready. But who knows? This will be a chance for him. Also in the news today, when asked about Richard Young, Coach Kalen DeBoer said he's going to be ready as he always is. Well, let's look at the running back room. Okay. Justice Haynes, he's gone. But these two young men right here, this one is, I don't know why, and I think it's worked to his benefit. And these are the graduation years for next year. So subtract one. For this guy, I have never seen a running back fly more under the radar than Jam Miller. He is so talented. He is so good. But they will not put him on a magazine. They will not feature him. Like, it is the weirdest thing. And usually when you're the Alabama, like, D running back, that's not necessarily the case. But, like, keep sleeping on him. That's fine. He catches the football well. He'll run over your ass. He is a good kid. Like, he just – and I was glad to see that they finally gave him, like, 28 carries on the back end. But, man, he is just so – people don't know how good he is still. It's crazy. Ricky Smith. And then Richard Young. I asked this earlier in the video that I put up. It's like, who is he comparable to? And I got some good feedback in terms of somebody was like, I don't really know because he hasn't played that much. And I was like, valid. I don't know. I kind of see him as a power type running back. So I don't know who he compares to from past Bama backs, but he reminds me of some of those bigger imposing type backs. I don't know if he's like a Eddie Lacy or something like that, but he's got a lot of power. Daniel Hill, he's a big back too. Kevin Riley, really fast, and then A.K. Deer. Right? See, Buck is saying, that's the thing with Roach. It is like fans, for whatever reason, are like split on Roach. Buck is saying he's one of the best recruiters in the SEC. Plus, he's from, like, he played here. He's from here. T, will you read this out when you see it? And this is about Jaylen Mbakwe. Just let me know when you see it. But Jaylen Mbakwe, in case you've been somewhere, you would have had to been like off the grid, hiking somewhere. I have no idea. To not know that Jaylen Mbakwe is now playing offense. I think Jaylen Mbakwe is going to play both positions, right? I think they'll put him where they need to see fit. But Jaylen Mbakwe, here's a quote from Nick Sheridan today. T?
Yeah, he says, I think it's a little early to have a crystal clear vision of what that would look like. Excited about the potential of him.
Yeah, so that's Jaylen Mbakwe.
Apparently I can't read tonight either. Sorry, guys.
I think when you look to Jaylen Mbakwe, there's so much excitement. And I'm going to tell you what. Jaylen Mbakwe is going to play this game at receiver. Okay? That's my prediction. Because of this, all right, who else is going to play? Like, Bernard's there. Ryan Williams is there. But look at all these guys that are injured. He's got to play. This was like a perfect time for all this to happen, was for Jaylen Mbakwe to start playing right now. All right, T, we were talking about this earlier today. And somebody was like, somebody called in today during the call-in show, during the morning show. And they said they were like, look, it was a theory. Nobody knows what really happened with all this Jaylen Mbakwe stuff. Somebody was like, do you think that Ryan Williams and Jaylen Mbakwe cooked up this deal to like elevate their podcast?
I said that could be possible. When I first heard about it, I was like, not to necessarily elevate their podcast, but I think they were like comparing notes and.
So they're marketing geniuses.
No, I don't. Okay, no, I don't think that. I don't think it was to elevate their podcast, but I do think that it had to do with a discussion that they had between themselves.
And I was thinking about that. Like, what is more likely? Like, Ole Miss to somehow tamper, probably.
Yeah.
marketing geniuses.
At 17 and what, 18?
Or do you think that, like, in some weird way, because how ironic for Greg Byrne to put out like the public service announcement basically saying pay or these other programs are getting. Do you think it's all been like this whole thing? That seems least likely. I mean,
those are all like a bit far reaching, I guess, but I don't put like many things.
But people are saying that Alabama didn't match the offer. So you think you honestly think out there in the comment box that Jaylen Mbakwe they were like, hey, look, we're not going to pay you $1 million.
We're going to use you as a pawn, though.
But what we're going to do is we're going to let you play on offense.
Yeah, I don't know.
And keep the same amount of, maybe elevate your structure. So I don't know. But I promise you, Jaylen Mbakwe is probably making more than a lot of guys who have been. But a lot of players that have been Athletes Thread actually just text me. So long story short, I'll tell you what they're gonna do. They're sending me a throwback Alabama jersey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know. Who knows? The thing is, we don't know all the facts. So keep that in mind. I mean, I guarantee you, there's like he's getting paid. Was there probably tampering? There's tampering all over. None of this, all this stuff is like a gray area.
Yeah, I mean, tampering is happening behind the scenes all over the place right now.
Remember Iowa? They admitted that they like slid into Caden Proctor's DMs,
and it was like the biggest story ever. But it's just happening like constantly.
They were just, all they had to do was basically admit that they did that, and there was no like repercussions.
There wasn't even a slap on the wrist.
they were just like, yeah,
my bad.
Because remember, I would text Caden Proctor last year during the season, and they were like, hey, we know you're having a hard time, but like, we just want you to know that we're thinking about you. Yeah. We're here.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
We're really close to home.
Oh, man, that's funny. All right. Okay, so that's the wide receiver room. That's why I think that Jaylen Mbakwe plays. Who knows? Maybe he scores a touchdown or something like that. I have no idea. Here's an update on Keon Keeley. And I thought this was probably one of the more significant updates out of all these updates that the coaches were talking about. Okay.
Tampering if they contact the agent, if they go through the agent.
Oh, damn.
That's a really interesting point.
Wow. Genius. Yeah.
Is that true?
Probably. You know who just got an agent? I don't want to scare anybody. Keon Keeley.
Really?
No. Keelan Russell.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Quarterback. Yeah. Keelan. I'm sure they all have agents.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So if you go to their agent, you're not going directly to them. So therefore, no tampering? Is that the rule?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Crazy. All right. One of the biggest updates that I saw today was Charles. I don't think so, man. That could be you could write that on your Christmas list, but I don't think that's gonna happen. All right. So I felt this was one of the biggest updates today. Kane Womack said this about Keon Keeley, because I know you've been asking about Keon Keeley, and I think we've all been checking our notifications to see if Keon Keeley is the next guy to go into the transfer portal. And he said this, and this is Coach Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator. I am more excited about Keon Keeley right now than I've ever been at any point since I've been here. And I was like, man, that is a really positive update, because I think right now, since we haven't seen Keon Keeley and he didn't get to play that much, I think automatically, and what scares us is we have PTSD from if they don't play, they're going to transfer. But maybe, just maybe, Keon Keeley is in the developmental process of his game, right? Maybe he's working on his craft. I haven't seen him really go to social media at all. I haven't seen him complain. I mean, I think there's been rumors about every single player, but I haven't seen really anything about him. So maybe he's just working on his game. I mean, he put 35 pounds on for this bandit position. I think there's going to be a hell of a battle for the bandit position. So I thought this was one of the best updates today, honestly. I think one of the, it's unfortunate to see Malachi Moore's not playing in the bowl game. But this Keon Keeley one, I thought that was good. Maybe he's waiting. Maybe he's just working on his craft. And I think today in a video that I did, somebody said, I think people thought I said that he was playing the wolf position. He's playing bandit, and then Yanzi Pierre is playing wolf. So if I miscommunicated and somehow, I apologize for that. But they're playing different positions. Originally, Keon Keeley came in as an outside backer, wolf position player until he was moved to bandit. J-Bag's asking about Nova Carter moving to inside linebacker. I haven't really had a chance to think about it. I would like to keep him at this wolf position just because I feel he has the athleticism to play that position, probably more so the inside linebacker. But, man, I mean, he has – I love his highlight tape. I think he's just another guy. And when you say they're in the development process, there's nothing wrong with that. It might take some guys some time to get going. All right, here's one. And, T, I'm going to have you read this one out. So when it hits your screen, give me the green light, okay? So earlier today, this was like the biggest news across college football. And Greg Byrne sent out an email to everybody kind of within the Alabama ecosystem talking about NIL and, asking people, pleading with people to sign up for Yay Alabama. Let's look at it from both sides of the coin. Let's read and hear his this little soundbite statement right here and then talk about it because I think it's interesting. I mean, this is a whole new wave of college football, and you have guys who, are making millions and millions of dollars. The university is making billions, and asking fans to contribute when you can't see the transparency of where the money's going. I think it gets, it puts college football in an interesting position. So Greg Byrne, he's going to fight for his university. He's fighting for his players. T's going to read out this little soundbite, not a soundbite, but rather just this quote from Greg Byrne today.
He says, although we have been competitive from an NIL standpoint, our competition has us in their sights and actively trying to surge ahead with NIL. You have heard examples of other teams using promises of $1 million paydays to lure away our players or convince them not to come to Alabama. It's time for Bama Nation to fight back. So he's sending a message.
Yeah, and someone said Daniel Adams saying it sounds kind of desperate.
Yeah,
we thought the same thing. I thought it was kind of a little bit desperate. I think the way that these are my issues with Yay Alabama. All right, and number one, I reached out to Yay Alabama. I reached out to their executive director last year, and I asked them if they wanted to link up and work on some sort of strategic strategy through this YouTube channel, and it's 111,000 subscribers, and they weren't interested in the slightest. Okay, fine. I have encouraged people to sign up for Yay Alabama. The problem I have with Yay Alabama is you don't know where that money's going. They are never going to show you where that money's going, and I have a problem with that. Because if you want to put money into the tank for Alabama football players, where is that money going? Do you get any money back when these players transfer out? Who's getting paid what, and where are you giving your money to, right? So those are some issues that I have. Plus, there's no contracts. So those are the type of issues that I have with it. And I think that if there was a little bit more transparency on who was getting what, I think people would be a little bit more comfortable giving it. But I'll tell you what, the majority of people out there, specifically in the state of Alabama, and I get it, there's people here that have so much money, it's unbelievable, okay? But for the majority of people who they're targeting, too, are like month-to-month people. I'm like one of them. So it's like disposable income, in giving. People don't – this is what makes people really uncomfortable, is they don't want to get burned by giving their hard-earned money somewhere and not knowing where it's going. And by getting burned is like by somebody transferring out.
Well, yeah, when you're asking for that amount of money, I think the least they can do is tell
let's
them
just
where
say,
it's going.
Look, and this isn't a lot of money, I guess. It is to me. But if I was to give $1,000 to Yay Alabama and I have no idea where it's going, that makes me uncomfortable. Would you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think you should know where your money's going no matter the donation amount. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think like
you do with any other donation that you make, you know exactly what it's going towards.
Yeah, and if you're wondering where the super chats are going, they're to feed this 16-year-old 200-pound kid over here.
He eats 3 dinners.
So, I mean, I don't know. I understand the complexities of it. I think that there should be more regulations. Oh, Skyler on Aaron Suttles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the exact. Yeah.
We can.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that the parameters and the way that this all works is another broken spoke of college football, right? The college football playoff system is broken, right? How teams make the playoffs, it doesn't make sense. It's not the best 12. You're feeding like the conferences. You know, NIL, it's not it. It used to be like how it's supposed to be. Like this Ryan Williams jersey, like I bought this because it's going like to the players. Now it's like pay for play. The transfer portal windows doesn't make sense. 100%. Yeah.
Kyle, how many coaches now have like offered to put money into the NIL right now?
I think a few, and that's what I was thinking. Maybe Coach Kalen DeBoer, look, you don't make the playoffs, give $1 million of your salary to Yale, Alabama. You don't win the SEC, $500,000 goes back to Yale, Alabama.
I actually don't think that's a bad idea at all.
I mean, Mike Norvell won 2 games. He was penalized. I mean, he had to put, $4.5 million back in. There's a lot of money. So there's a lot of money out there. I don't know. I mean, I think Greg Byrne, what is he making? Like 3.5?
Let's see.
If these guys were really serious about it, they would cut their salaries down significantly and be like, you know what? Like, why doesn't, it'd be interesting. What, Greg Byrne, how much is he making?
$2.09 million through 2031.
Is he willing to give half of his salary to Yale, Alabama?
He has a $5 million buyout. Before
no, I'm serious. Do you think that any of these guys would give half of their salary back to Yale, Alabama?
No, of course not.
Why not?
But, maybe.
But do they want you to give a percentage of your money?
Yeah, they do.
I know. It's uncomfortable to talk about, but you don't mess around with money. So it puts a lot of people in uncomfortable positions because they want to see, their school succeed, but they're like, man, you ever go to an Alabama football game? It's expensive. So I don't know. This is where we're at. This is what they've thought about doing. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it works out for the players' benefit. So Josh Miller's saying, why is Saban's making $500,000? Yeah, that's a good point.
We were talking about that earlier too.
But you could never criticize that. Like people like Saban, that's just like
yeah, he's untouchable.
Right. Saban basically like built the economy here though too.
But yeah, and that's valid, I guess. But do we owe him for how long? How long do you keep paying him $500,000 a year?
Yeah, I mean, there's some huge. I mean, look, Freddie Roach, what is he making? $900,000 a year. The coaches are making an extra, and you know what? Alabama football, they also talk about, I'll be curious to see how many NFL players are giving back to Yale, Alabama, because don't they say that there's $1.3 billion that they've generated? Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see how many players are going back to Alabama football. I don't know. I just, the working class people, it's tough. And I wonder if the big donors are doing it the same. I have no idea. Man, it's crazy. What a wild time. And Greg Byrne, he's doing his job. His job is to get people to, I went to a scrimmage this past year and all they played, Jay, 100%, bro. All they played on the sound system, if you want to be competitive, it was Greg Byrne's voice. He was like, hey, fans, if you want to be competitive, we need you to pay Yay Alabama so we can keep Alabama football players. And I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. I can't even believe this is like that. Atlanta Living and Beyond, I thought it came off like that as well. I'm sorry?
Do you think other schools are sending out emails like that?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, you have to imagine they are, but.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I just think it's wild some of these coaches putting in, part of their salaries.
I would love that. I would love to see.
That sends a message. That sends a message more than like an email.
And more than even Greg Byrne. Like one person who has a lot of power here would be like Nate Oates or Jaylen Mbakwe.
Yeah.
Probably Jaylen Mbakwe because he's making $10 million, right?
Well, and it's his team. That most of it's going towards. So.
Yeah, I think. But I mean, shoot. And then, I don't know. This is all off the rails. Look, Skylar's like, college is asking for money is entertaining. And the university, man.
Yeah, like a college like the University of Alabama sending out mass emails, asking for donations. It's wild. That's where we are.
This wasn't how it was supposed to be, right? You know who I think, the two people who I think should be on the College Football Commission I think they should be, these are my recommendations. Put Coach Saban as the overall, like have him just, because Saban does seem he seems like he understands the process. He seems like a moral man. Mm-hmm. And then the person to facilitate and like everything under it, hire Josh Pate. And those are your two guys. And then I don't know if you put McAfee. I was going to say.
Josh Pate like smooths it over after, everyone's feathers are ruffled.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's all broken. I mean, who knows? It's unfortunate that we're at this point in time, but I didn't think about how much has changed since like 2019 to right now. Mm. I don't.
Like the entire structure of college football.
I don't know what's gonna happen. But anyways, it's a trending topic. You watched it, so did I. It's uncomfortable to talk about people's money. It really is. That's why it's like when you're asking people to like donate and the timing is bad because people don't know. You know what would have been interesting is if they would have said we had to match Jaylen Mbakwe's. This is why. Here are the financial reports. This is exact money where we're at, and here's Ole Miss. Like we have no idea. Do we have any idea like what those numbers like really are?
No.
Like, do we know how much like Alabama has? Mike Ford saying, "Hi, Uncle Luke." Uncle Luke, those guys, man. I have respect for all those content creators.
I
don't know. We'll look. We'll look on that. Okay. That is just it makes me like.
So it says in 2023, the University of Alabama brought in $199.9 million in revenue, but its number doesn't include $14.3 million in gifts, whatever that means.
Huh. I don't know. Hot topic for sure. I was waiting maybe for Isaiah Horton to drop a note. If you're just new here or if you're watching, Isaiah Horton just hit the transfer portal. He's a wide receiver out of Miami. We're anticipating the expectation for him is to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Here's a look at how Alabama's offense could look theoretically next year. I think the one thing that certainly stands out when you look at this graphic is you're probably concerned about the right tackle position. The right tackle position is right here. Where Elijah Pritchett is, and I have no idea if Michael Carroll is going to come in and be developed enough to start at the guard position, right? But we like Proctor, we like Brailsford, Roberts. I'm going to give Roberts grace. I still believe in Jaden Roberts, to be honest. I just feel that he was injured. Josh Cuevas will be your tight end. You have Jeremy Bernard. You have Jaylen Mbakwe now. This could be someone else, right? In different formations. That could be formations with 4 wide receivers. I don't know. Yeah, Skylar saw Diego's coming back as well. And he'll come to Tuscaloosa. And you have Ryan Williams up at the top. I feel pretty good. And someone said that I misspelled Keelan Russell back here, which could very well be the case. I'm sorry, T?
What number is that?
The slide?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not sure. Probably like somewhere like 17 or something like that. But I feel good about this offense. You know, if this offense had to go out right now, I feel good. It could. I think the schedule for Alabama football, as I've said a million times, and I know this is just a graphic that kind of just shows a snapshot of the offense. Things will change. Alabama, they're in a tough position because of their schedule is going to be so challenging. I think their schedule this year, now that I thought about it, is tougher than it was this year. Road trips to Georgia, road trips to South Carolina, hosting LSU, hosting Tennessee, hosting Diego Pavia again. Oklahoma, I'm telling you, this is news before news. Oklahoma's quarterback is fantastic. He is so good, this guy that they just got tonight. I think he was a number one player in the transfer portal, okay? So I think I have Alabama's football schedule. Let me show it real quick. Because I think when I look to this schedule, I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about the overall strength of it. I think it's going to be more challenging than it was this year.
3 or 4 weeks in there in a row where it looks pretty shady.
Yeah, let me pull. Oh, here we go.
It's like all SEC games back to back to back.
Yeah, here's the schedule. This was released. No, Jarvis, you've seen this guy play, right? He's a baller. Okay, so I have to update some of these notes. Okay, the front part of the schedule, it's a cakewalk. Come on. Wisconsin's going to come over here, and it's going to be the same thing. Alabama's going to absolute drub them. Adam Garcia, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. We don't know if Jeremy Bernard's going to come back or not. You got to think if Isaiah Horton's coming in, that might mean he's leaving, but I don't know. This front part of the schedule, you go 3-0, you're probably ranked number 1 or something like that at this point in time. It'll set up well to go to Georgia for a top 5 versus top 5 matchup. I have no idea. Look, playing on the road against Georgia is going to be very challenging. Alabama will be the underdog. You know how it goes. They're always the underdog when they play Georgia. This is where it gets pretty tough. So you battle Georgia on the road in Athens, okay? Then you play Diego Pavia again. You play Missouri. Did Missouri get a new quarterback? T, can you look up that up? I think they had to have. They had to get somebody for Brady Cook. I forget who it was. All right. And look, Missouri plays some pretty good defense, and I think they got a quarterback. Okay, whatever. Tennessee will be tough. They've won the last 2 out of 3 times. That's hard. That's a tough game. I know we don't like Tennessee and hate everything orange, but Nico's going to be he'll improve again by that point. This is a playoff team. Okay?
Does Matt Zollers make sense?
I'm sorry?
Matt Zollers, Zollers.
I don't know who that is. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
South Carolina on the road, that's going to be hard. Look at this stretch right here. This stretch is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You go 5-0 in this stretch, woof. You're winning the whole thing. That is a playoff stretch right there. Look at that. Then you're open, and then the back end, I think the back end is still tough because of the quarterbacks that you're facing.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma might have one of the top quarterbacks in
the guy they just got?
Yes. This guy is fantastic. And then you got Auburn, the Haunted Barn, and guess who their quarterback is? Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
So look at the quarterbacks that you're playing, okay? You're playing who will Georgia's quarterback be? You're playing Diego Pavia, whoever's Missouri's will be. You're playing Nico. You're playing Lenore Sellers. You're playing Garrett Nussmeier. You're playing this Mateer guy who just transferred to Oklahoma. And then you're playing Jackson Arnold. That's wild. Adam's like, they just wanted Jackson because they beat out. Probably. That guy was good.
Georgia's quarterback would be Ryan Montgomery or Hezekiah Millender.
What would be crazy if it was Dylan Lonergan? Remember, what if Dylan Lonergan would have committed to? No, he committed to Boston. Yeah, but that would have been crazy, right? How crazy would that have been?
He plays maybe Ty Simpson or
Dylan Lonergan versus Ty Simpson in Athens.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that would have been weird. But as you know, Dylan Lonergan committed to Boston College with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, so we went back to Bob.
Everything is interconnected in all of this.
Well, everyone's just got ties to Alabama now. Like, that's where they all started, apparently.
Yeah, I think I was hoping he would have went to Syracuse.
Yeah.
All right. What? Okay. This is these are some guys that are early enrolling, so this is something to watch for. You have Daryl Duke Johnson, Ivan Taylor, Luke Metz. These guys should be available to participate, not play, but these guys will be practicing for the bowl game against Michigan. That's pretty cool. Seth, that's a great idea. Look, to assign 200. That's what I was wondering. Like, are they hitting up the NFL players as well? I'm sure they have to. They have to be.
For sure.
Right? Hey, Bama Productions, I missed your message.
Yeah,
Post it
just
again.
retype it.
Yeah, retype it, man. In January, you got a bunch of guys coming in. The only guys really coming in the summertime are Chuck McDonald and Caleb Edwards, the DB and the tight end. But everybody else will be getting here in January, right? And you saw that Keelan Russell just got an agent. So, yeah, Marcus, he might have turnover issues, man, but he was just scary. Bama Productions asked, can you read that, T?
Yeah, NFL Scout says Ewers needs one more year. Texas is over and ready for Arch Manning. What if Ewers enters the portal and goes to North Carolina? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I saw something like that out there. I don't know. This whole Bill Belichick experiment in college football, I don't think will last long. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even coach a game in college football. That might be like a really hot take, but I think if an NFL job opens up, he might bounce for the NFL. There's no rules and parameters. I think 5 months in college football, I think Bill Belichick, I think he'd be smart enough to be like, yo, this system is absolutely broken, because you know what's going to happen to Bill Belichick? He hasn't gone through a spring portal window yet. And guess what happens in the spring portal window, Bill Belichick? Same thing that's happening right now. Players on your team that you just, this is so crazy, okay? The spring portal period, the same players can leave again. How crazy is this?
Yeah.
Players that just got here now can leave again in the springtime and not be penalized and be eligible to play in fall. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Dylan, no. Justin Jefferson does not have a COVID year left, but I'll tell you what, who has one is Ja Latham. So Jameer Latham, he could still play this next season.
What would that be, his fifth or sixth?
I don't know. It'd be like his sixth. The same thing with this guy, Nikhil Green from Colorado. He was at Michigan for 3 years, Charlotte 1 year, Boulder 1. That's 5, and if he comes to Alabama, it'd be 6. All right, little college football talk, fam. Who you guys? And I've been asking this for a little bit. Who do you think gets blown out? Will there be any blowouts? There's a game Friday night. Notre Dame and Indiana play in the Indiana State Championship. Do you see any of these teams that are, I guess, would you say lower or higher? To me, higher is like higher numbers. Which team gets blown out this weekend? Maybe Clemson? I think Clemson's going to get destroyed by Texas. Does anyone see, right? I could see SMU getting rolled. Penn State, you know what? I've been talking smack about Penn State the entire season. Penn State looked
really good.
I know they did. They did. Seth King is saying SMU's going to get smoked.
Boise.
Boise State. They don't even play this week. They got to bye.
Yeah, they're straight to the quarterfinals or whatever.
Yeah, them in Arizona State. That's crazy. Oh, man. That's wild. You know, a lot of people have been picking Tennessee to beat Ohio State.
I like that. I think Tennessee has a chance.
I don't think so.
I think they could. If anyone was to have an upset, I think Tennessee could get it.
Yeah, I mean, those 8-9 matchups, even in basketball, you know, it seems to go that way. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm picking. I'd probably pick all the favorites in this one. I'm most how about this Indiana Notre Dame game?
I'd take Notre Dame, but not that much.
The favorite by what, 7.5? Yeah. I don't know. Army 32-75, saying Ohio State will beat Tennessee. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Ohio State beats them. Games in Columbus, we'll see what happens. All right, let me run it back just for a minute, and then we'll see where we're at. So right now, I would make sure the notifications are turned on so you know when news happens. But what we're watching, two really significant items is earlier today you had Cam Calhoun, who committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's a corner out of Utah. I like the pickup, to be honest, adds depth. I have no idea if he's going to be the starter. I think there's, it's way too early to determine any of that, and we're still watching what Damani Jackson is going to do. The other one would be absolute slam dunk. It'd be pretty much like an emergency video, and that's Isaiah Horton. So guess what? We're watching him, and when he commits, we'll go live. And I'm going to tell you something. Whenever I get onto an airplane, news happens, okay?
Don't say it this year.
And I'm going on an airplane tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Okay? So if I have to report from, 30,000 feet, then so be it. But Isaiah Horton is on commitment watch. He just hit the portal. He's a 6'4" wide receiver that I think would be an instant impact player for the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right. Greg Byrne says that everybody's got to fight back. We hit on that. It's a wild topic right now. Read the stories. Like, we'll talk about this tomorrow too. Like, get educated on it because it's really interesting to talk about from all sides. Malachi Moore will not be playing in the bowl game because of an injury. No, two things happened. So that was a joke. Grubb was hired when I was flying, and then you know what else happened when I was going down to Tampa when I was flying? Tyler Buckner got named the starter. Those are the two things that happened. There was something else. And then remember, Damani Jackson committed last year when we were eating sushi. You remember this?
Say that again. Sorry.
Damani Jackson committed when we were in Little Tokyo. He committed when we were in Little Tokyo. Remember?
Yep. We did a video, Are You Dead, standing up in Little Tokyo.
All right. And then Nakai Hill Green is visiting from Colorado. I don't know if it's today or whenever, but that's what's to watch. And then we hit on, various topics. So as news happens, we got you covered right here at Bama Football on YouTube. Support the university how you can. Whether that's, by going to Athletes Thread and getting gear that goes to the players, by going to football games, by watching TV, right? They got those mega TV contracts. Do what fits you. I appreciate you guys being here. Please sleep well. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time or as news breaks. So if something major happens, I promise you, if I'm around internet connectivity, I'm going live. All right. I appreciate you guys for being with us. Thank you very much for giving me your time tonight on this beautiful Wednesday night. Be good people. Sleep well. Enjoy this beautiful thing we got called life. And I'll be back soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. All right. See you, fam.